Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new Sugo Fest that will be arriving as of today over here on the global side of the game, and taking a look at the 3 new Sugo Fest characters that will be releasing with what was, or once was, the French anniversary. So, the Pirate Paradise Full Ahead Sugo Fest is coming as of, like, what? I don't know, like 12 hours from when I'm recording this video. It's a bit more than that, but like, it's late at night. I don't want to do maths. And in today's video, I will be showcasing Magellan, Moria, and BlackBeard for you guys over on my Japanese side of the game, and giving you guys a little bit of an idea of what these characters can do and if they're worth summoning for. So, let's have a look at the Sugo Fest. It's a 10% Sugo Fest rate from the 22nd to the 9th of, the 10th of August, which is really, really cool. We're getting the BlackBeard dual unit, Moria, and Magellan. All are powerhouse units. All are basically like driven and shooter units. And when they released on Japan, it was a little bit hype, but we'll get into some of that conversation in a bit. But the new Sugo Fest characters will be appearing on different parts, as they will all be available on part 1, and then all, I'm assuming, more boosted on their respective parts. So BlackBeard's part 2, Moria's part 3, and Magellan's part 4. We have the new rare recruits in Katarina Devon and Alvaro Pizarro. They're 2 of the BlackBeard pirates. They'll be debuting as well. So 4 stars are better, basic stuff. And then we have the steps. So 30 gems for the first multi, and then 2nd, 5th, 7th, 11th, 14th, 17th, 19th, and 22nd. Sugo Fest, a rate boosted character. Not a fan of that step. Not a fan of that step at all. 3rd, 9th, 13th, 18th, and 23rd is a Sugo. 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, 20th, and 24th are all 1 gem multis, which is really, really nice to see. And then the 6th and the 15th is a limited Sugo Fest, and then the 10th, 21st, and 25th are super limited Sugo Fest pulls. So that was for part 1, and then part 2 are kind of the same, but instead of finishing at 25, it goes all the way up to 30 if you guys want to get your hands on Moria, Magellan, or BlackBeard. Now, I'm going to give you guys a hint right here. None of these characters are worth 30 multis. The only thing that I will say is if you are very, very invested in Pirate Rumble, you are very, very invested, and you really, really, really want the top int team and you want the top quick team straight away, then go hard on these banners. But with the Yoshi producer video releasing a couple days ago now, we know exactly what's coming, and if you are free to play, definitely do not spend your stones on this banner. Save your stones for September when we get the big Super Sugo Fest for the anniversary units of Law, Kid, and Luffy. That's where you want to be spending your gems, as all of these units pop up again on those banners. Moria, Magellan, Kaido, V2 Kaido, V2 Zoro, V3 Zoro, BlackBeard, they are all found on the anniversary banner, whether it's in part 1 or in the parts that are selected to those Super Sugos. But as I mentioned to you guys, I am going to be showcasing these characters for you guys in today's video. With that said, let's dive in. Alright, so we're going to start it off over here with the Ink duo of V3 BlackBeard, or the dual unit BlackBeard. BlackBeard is his hand, as he's like to be referred to as, and the Moria combo. Now, the 2 of these units actually work very, very well together, and if you do pull one of them, I would highly suggest like not going for the other, as they do work amazingly as hybrid captains. I will say before I continue though, I do think Moria is the best out of these 3 legends, but you guys will see what I mean as we make our way through Revolutionary Army 1 in today's video. I didn't want to do anything too challenging. I just wanted to sort of slap on some units and have a chat about what these particular units do instead of talking about the content. So with Moria, Moria is a 5x captain when you have a matching orb. He also makes a couple orbs matching. He's an orb booster, and then in the following turn, he's a color affinity booster. And when you actually kill units, you actually get healing for hitting perfects and for actually taking them out as well. With BlackBeard, however, BlackBeard has 2 forms. He has the Dark fruit, and then he has the Quake fruit. And when he has the Quake fruit, he enters the stage, and he actually does a 10% HP cut that goes through normal attacks only. Now, this is actually really, really good, and Bandai actually needed to implement a mechanic to actually nerf this, especially for Super Boss. When Super Boss came out, this particular mechanic was so ridiculously strong that it could actually just get through normal attacks only, would do a lot of damage when enemies have a lot of HP, and then you would rely on your team to sort of take them out. So BlackBeard is very, very fun. I will admit he is quite a fun legend, and a lot more fun than I gave him credit for. But in saying that, the way you have to play with this guy, there are a lot of better int units, like I mean, he is a driven powerhouse unit. I shouldn't say int unit, but like when it comes to making these sort of int teams with these units, I would much rather use Kainu than actually use BlackBeard. But that's just me. And BlackBeard is very, very fun. He's just not all that viable in some of the harder content. In some of the easier content, he's going to be very, very good. But again, it's just he's a dual unit that wants to be a captain, and just dual units do not fit their best particular situation as a captain. But when you do actually get him in his captain form and you do take that 50,000 damage and you use his special, you can actually stay in his dual form for 8 turns, which is absolutely monstrous. And then every time you take damage in the Dark form, you actually get cooldown, very similar to V2 BlackBeard, but then you get the HP cut when you're in the Quake Fruit. Now, when you are in BlackBeard's dual form, or in BlackBeard's form at all, he has that effect where you can't put up defensive effects. So defense up, damage reduction, threshold, all of those effects will actually get turned into an attack buff or an orb buff. I think it's an attack buff for driven and powerhouse units. I'm 99% sure it's an attack buff. But I did want to show off that if you do use switch abilities or supports, that actually doesn't accumulate and doesn't become an attack boost. As you guys saw, I had the Mr. 3 support on our Katarina Devon, and that way we still got that damage reduction. So it is still possible to get damage reduction with BlackBeard, but he's mainly used as like an attacker. I gotta say, he's got a pretty nice special. Like, that animation is actually really, really clean. But he's mainly used as an attacker. You want to get his special off. You want to stay in his dual form for as long as possible. But the downside to his switch ability is he removes special bind on himself, and then I'm pretty sure his special does something with special bind as well. But the downside is when you're in the turn that captain ability for 8 turns, you don't have access to his switch ability. Now, the best thing about his switch ability really is the matching orb, to be honest. But that's the big downside to this particular unit. He just wants to be a captain that is a dual unit, but you can actually do some really cool stuff, because when you are in his dual form and you do take damage, you're going to be in good stead. I'm sorry, I just love that versatility so goddamn much that it's like, oh, it's just so good. But another reason that I have some of these very high-end legends on the team as well, and namely why I actually wanted to show that versatility, is in September, when we do get the anniversary legends, a little unit called Verse Shanks and Whitebeard will be coming as well. Now, Verse Shanks and Whitebeard, in my opinion, is easily the best in-captain in the game. Whitebeard, I'm talking about. Shanks for Sai, bit of a different story because they have stuff like Roger, but for Verse Whitebeard, I believe he's easily the best int captain that there is. Running 2 of this guy, he's just built different. But you also have a lot of other really good int units like Bonnie, and you also have Marco, as well as Big Mom. I've included Big Mom in this team to showcase her as well, just so we don't forget about these particular units that are still very, very strong. However, when you are building driven powerhouse teams, I do think Moria is going to be your best bet. If you want to do some of these funky hybrid teams with BlackBeard and Moria and Versa Kainu, it does work very, very well. But if you had to pick one legend that you wanted to go for, Moria would have to be the best of the 3, mainly because he's very good in PvP, he's very good in regular play. Driven Powerhouse have a lot of support, and he's a very, very, very good captain with a very good special. But the main reason these 2 units suffer is mainly because we do have a character already called Versa Kainu. Versa Kainu, in my opinion, even with the release of these 2 units, is still the best driven powerhouse captain in the entire game. I still don't really see these 2 particular characters overtaking him for clearing content quickly, effectively, and even being still very, very fun as well. So the downside to these units is because of Versa Kainu and because we know what's coming in September, I would definitely hard skip these units, unless you're doing content creation and stuff like that. But another thing to note as well is that I don't think I'll be going very hard for these particular units. I do really only want to pull Magellan from the banners, purely for PvP, but I might throw some multis at Moria, I'm not 100% sure. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. If you guys do want to see more content with these units, please let me know in the comment section below, and that might sort of hinder my thoughts and my thought pattern in whether to summon or not. But that was BlackBeard and Moria against Revolutionary Army 1. It was a lot of fun, I won't lie, running these two units together and building this team. But Revolutionary Army 1 obviously is not the hardest content in the game, so I just wanted to do something that I could just run basically without thinking, and also have a chance to talk to you guys about these particular units. But let's move on to Magellan now. Alright, so now we're moving on to Moria, the new quick powerhouse shooter legend that will be debuting alongside the 2-int driven powerhouse units. But once again, we are taking on Revolutionary Army 1, so this is the team, and let's dive in. Now, once again, I did want to just take on something that I could just sort of brain dead make my way through. And with this particular team with Magellan, I did include a lot of very, very high-end legends, and I did include them for a very big reason. Mainly because I actually want to talk about them as units that are just better options than Magellan for a captain. So Kaido, when he can works very, very well. Versa Kainu is almost like borderline broken tier. And then with the new 7th anniversary Luffy that we know we're getting in September, we just have so many other options for quick. So summoning for Magellan at this time is just, it just should be a huge skip for most players. The only people that I will sort of justify is people like Rumble Scratch or other big time PvP players that really want to get their hands on the quick team before it has a chance to sort of really flourish with Luffy as well. But let's quickly talk about Magellan before I start talking about some other units. So Magellan as a captain is a 5x captain for quick units. He has double special activation. He's the first legend to actually have double special activation, and it's really, really cool to see. He does burn removal as well as paralysis removal, maybe? I can't remember what his other, like his utility is. But he also does poison, and then with his second lot of specials, he actually gives the crew an attack buff, which is really, really nice. The downside to this unit is, if you want this unit to function the way that you want him to function, you need double special activation. Otherwise, you're only getting 3 turns of the utility. You're really only getting a poison. If there is full immunity or poison immunity, you're not really getting too much from his special, besides color affinity. Now, don't get me wrong, color affinity is still very, very good, but it's just not something you want in a legend. It's rainbow color affinity, and it's really, really great, but it's just something that isn't really that essential for the team, and not something that you really want to put into a high-end legend for that particular team. There's a lot of good rare recruits that do color affinity. You really want your high-end legends to be either really, really good utility, really, really unga bunga attack, or provide a lot for their particular team in some sort of way. And Magellan's great because he can be just that color affinity booster. You can slot him onto teams, and I have done that before in Japan. But without double special activation, you really suffer with getting the maximum potential. And if you guys don't have those double special tablets, you're going to see a little while before Magellan actually gets very, very good. But in Rumble, he's an absolute wizard, and we will talk about that in the end of this video, because I do have like 2 Rumble matches for you guys with the quick team, which I believe is the best team going around at the moment. But Int is still pretty good as well. Like with Moria and BlackBeard, like they're still, well, Int-driven powerhouse, but they're still very, very good as well. But the reason I wanted to include Luffy, Kaido, and Akainu, now these 3 units are all just as good, if not better, captains than Magellan is. Now, Kaido is probably the one you probably argue that isn't as good as Magellan, but he still does have that effect where you take 10,000 damage, you automatically trigger his special, and if there are no normal attacks only, like these challenges are, Kaido is just a much better option, and this is a perfect example of why summoning for Magellan just isn't that great, as Magellan will be available on Luffy's banner. Now, Luffy, in my opinion, is the best quick captain in the game. He's not as, like, fun as Kid, and he's not as intricate as Law, but he still does a lot, and he still does it very, very well. Especially because he's a free spirit booster as well. But if you're looking to build just mono quick teams, his Unga Bunga damage is absolutely insane. As well as being very, very good healer. As when you hit your perfects, you actually eat the meat orbs just like you would with Verse Big Mom. And he increases those chances of landing on those orbs as well. The final unit on this team is actually Akainu. Now, Akainu is the best powerhouse-driven captain in the game, still in my opinion. And with him taking damage and getting that conditional against Burn, as well as his amazing special being a chain lock and an orb booster, I do think this is just way, way better than what Magellan provides, even when you are getting Magellan at his full potential. But there are going to be situations where Magellan does shine a little bit more purely because of that utility. But the big reason I wanted to put this team together for you guys is to show you guys, please do not summon at all unless you guys really, really want to go in Rumble, or if you are missing some legends on the banner, because it is a 10% raid, if you are missing some legends on those banners. But all of these legends that we have spoke about today will be coming back on those banners. They're all going to be available on Luffy's banner, Magellan and Kaido especially. Versus Ace Akainu, they're going to be there as well. You're going to have access to Moria on part 1, and I'm pretty sure you have access to BlackBeard on part 3. So I would highly recommend you guys save your gems till then. Do not get baited by this Suko Fest, as these units, as good as they are, it's just not the time for them to be releasing. But for you guys that do love your Rumble, let's hop into the end of this video and let's check out some Rumble matches. Alright, so for the final part of the video, we're going to be doing some Pirate Rumble. Now, this is where Magellan shines the most, and don't get me wrong, Moria is very, very good in PvP. I don't have the in-team where it needs to be to showcase it. I don't even have enough scrolls to level the damn thing up, as the characters I've sort of invested in are stuff like Verse Whitebeard and stuff like that. But Moria, I eventually will get around to doing. At the meantime, this has just been my Pirate Rumble team. I have been fiddling with Strength and Psi a little bit, but mainly this has been my team. Now, I really wanted to include this because even with bad RNG, which we get absolutely crushed with RNG in this particular fight, both of the fights that we have, we get absolutely destroyed with bad RNG. But this particular Rumble team is so damn strong that even with the worst RNG, it can still clutch. It does have the perfect bench of Whitebeard, Law, and Submask, which actually come in clutch in this particular fight. But we have all the big names at the front. We've got the new Luffy, the anniversary Luffy, and then we've got Magellan in the middle that both give haste. Unfortunately, we copped that bad RNG, and we took that Odin special, but look, it is what it is. But normally what would happen is Magellan would pop his special off, reduce the defense, do some damage, reduce more defense, and then give a character haste. Now, if he gives that to Luffy, Luffy then goes in front, Luffy uses his special, basically board wipes, gets a whole bunch of haste for more units, and then you just cycle through specials. But as you can see, we took a lot of specials early. We even took Kaido's special, which is a bit unfortunate, as well as taking the Odin special when we really should have killed him with a Akainu first. But nevertheless, even with bad RNG, we can still clutch the win, and the team still works very, very well. It's really, really good because PvP Whitebeard being such a good bench unit actually gets quite a significant buff on this team, as we are running mono quick. I've got one more fight for you guys, and then we'll wrap the video up. Alright, so for the final clip of the video, we're taking on a Psi team. Now, this Psi team isn't the best Psi team on Japan, mainly because it doesn't use Verse Shanks, but it still does have some very, very good units in Law, which is very, very good at nuking our particular team, or nerfing it, I should say, not nuking it, but nerfing it so we actually lose a lot of speed. Nevertheless, the powerhouse-driven quick team, whatever you want to call it, just works so damn well that even when everything's in their favor, we actually can still manage to clutch the win. I did lose to an in-team, actually, funny enough. I got very, very bad RNG. I did really want to showcase that, but I got very, very bad RNG, and it came down to like a one-on-one with like Moria versus one of my bench units, and they actually got the dub. So the in-team's very, very good as well. I don't want to discredit that. The driven powerhouse in-team is very, very strong, and unfortunately I can't showcase it, but I thought I would just showcase Magellan here showing off the prowess that is the mono quick team, with the haste that Magellan provides, the haste that Luffy provides, the amount of damage that Luffy can do, as well as Akainu with his HP cut, Shiryu being an absolute bonkers unit, and then Kaido still holding his own for so damn long. As you can see, all of our characters are jumping out. Unfortunately, we didn't get haste on our Kaido or our Shiryu, so we didn't manage to just get that total board wipe that would have happened if we actually got those units popping off. But we actually lose Kaido. We're going to lose a few units here. But we do have that perfect bench coming in, as well as Luffy getting stronger and stronger every time we lose units. But nevertheless, to wrap up the video, guys, I just want to reinforce to you guys that you should not be summoning on these banners. Definitely save your gens for September. September's where all the summoning is going to happen. We have the anniversary units, we have Wiper vs Shanks, we have Ace Sabo. Those 3 banners are the banners that you really want to save your gens for. Hopefully you get lucky on anniversary and then you can throw some stones at Ace Sabo, and then anything left over you can go for Whitebeard Shanks after that. But I hope this gives you some clarity on the new units, guys, what you guys should be doing for this Sugo Fest. But at the end of the day, if you want to summon, if you're feeling lucky, who am I to stop you? But I would highly recommend hanging on to those gems. But if you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lights!